Hi, I'm Stuart Jeff. I'm the design director for Sparky Pants Studios. Now, Sparky Pants is a new company, but we're a group of people who've been making strategy games together for a long time. Jason Coleman, our president, and Dave Inscore, our studio art director, were two of the original founders of Big Huge Games, leading the way on games like Rise of Nations and Rise of Legends. These days we're about 35 developers, but about half of us were back there at the original Big Huge Games, building those RTS classics. And today we're here to talk about Dropzone. It's an RTS style game that takes a lot of what we all love as players about RTSs of the past and packages it in a new, more modern take to appeal to a larger strategy audience of today. So when we started Sparky Pants a few years ago, we started gathering together some of the best and brightest developers that we'd worked with through the years, and we jammed them all into a basement, as one does. Here we are at kind of peak basement days. This is a room in Jason Coleman, our president's basement. I think at the height of this, we had about 16 people jammed into this little room. And it was pretty uncomfortable, a little smelly at times, and the AC was always struggling to keep up. But what was really cool about this time was it allowed us to hone a development process that's worked out so well for us, that's really based around rapid iteration. And the key to that is the daily game. Now, this is something I haven't really heard of other studios doing, but it's been really successful for us, and it's something we continue to use to this day. Every single day, everybody in the studio stops what they're doing, we all come together, and we play two people, 1v1, and the whole company watches them play. We do this for a bunch of reasons. One, it gives us a chance for everyone in the company to give their feedback on what they like and don't like about the game. It also lets us identify some key things that we can make better for the very next day. And that gives us the ability to make really fast progress on the game. The other reason is that we're a pretty competitive group of people. We've been making RTSs for a long time. This here is the very first leaderboard implementation. It was a sign we had hanging up in the basement. We're always stack ranking everybody in the company to see where they line up. And there was some real method to this madness, though, because when you play in that kind of situation where it's head-to-head, it's you versus your friends, you know, everyone in the company's watching, it really ups the ante, and you stop thinking like a developer and start thinking like a player. So every day we're thinking about what it's like to play this game, because the player is really comes first for us. But there's another reason. We get to see what it's like to actually watch the game. I mean, these days with esports being so popular and with streaming being so important, you know, we think that it's important to make the game as much fun to watch as it is to play. And the fact that we've been thinking about what that experience is going to be like from day one, we feel like it has led to some really wonderful things. And the output of all this is a game we call Dropzone. We call it an RTS style game. Because, you know, we love RTS. We've been playing RTS games since the beginning of the genre. But these days we find ourselves not playing quite as much. You know, it feels like it's gotten a little bit rote for us. And, you know, we feel like some fresh air needs to get breathed into the genre. We love MOBAs, of course, have a lot of fun there, and they're really popular these days. But at the same time, they don't quite scratch that itch that we yearn for from classic RTS. So what we've tried to do is take the feeling of the RTS and package it in a completely new presentation so that today's more modern strategy gaming audience can find something to love. Now, the rules of Dropzone are really simple. Every match lasts 15 minutes, and there's an actual clock that's counting down. And the player who scores the most points during that 15 minutes wins the game. Now, you might be thinking, that doesn't sound at all like an RTS or a MOBA. That sounds a lot more like sports. And, you know, that's kind of true. I love RTS and I love MOBAs, but, you know, for people who are new to the genres, they have a really hard time following the action, particularly when they're watching people play. And by using some of these common sports metaphors that just about everybody understands, we can bring strategy gaming to a whole new audience and give them a way to follow the action right away. Now, at the beginning of each match, you're going to be selecting 3 rigs. You can think of these rigs a little bit like MOBA heroes. Now, this is going to make up your squad. Now, I can't begin to undersell just how different it is to control 3 instead of 1. Now, the heroes may look a little bit like MOBA heroes, but when you're controlling 3 of them, it really changes the dynamic of play. Now, in addition to another way that they're very different from MOBA heroes is that in a MOBA, you're stuck with a set of abilities that you use every time. In Dropzone, you have the ability to customize those abilities to suit your own personal play style. Now, there's a tremendous amount of depth here, right? You're not having to depend on other teammates in order to get those really awesome team compositions. Now it's all on you to pick your dream team composition and then also pick your dream ability loadout so that you can execute on those amazing combo plays. You know, I love watching pro League of Legends players, for example, pull off those amazing wombo combos, but a lot of those teams have to live in a house together to practice that timing and get it just perfectly. In Dropzone, really you're the only limiting factor. If you can pull off a combo, if you can imagine a combo, then you can do it. Now once you get into the battle with your squad of 3 heroes, you're going to move out onto the map and you're going to be hunting down these hives. Now, these hives are computer controlled, so they're not fighting on behalf of either one of the players. These hives are really important because they're key to scoring points in the game. When you destroy them, they'll output a core. Now these cores, you can pick them up and carry them on the backs of your rigs. A little bit like capture the flag. So you're going to pick up these cores and take them to the center of the map where there is an uplink. Now that uplink is how you score points. You carry the cores to the uplink, right click on the uplink, there's a 10-second channel, and then the core is gone and a point is scored. Now if you're killed while you're carrying one of those cores, it'll fall to the ground and anybody can pick it up. So you get some really interesting dynamics happening right around that uplink. It's a little bit like the watering hole on the African savanna. Everybody's got to go there to get a drink, but you know, a lot of action's happening at the edges. Now there's another way to score points, and that's by being the first player to complete one of the map objectives. Now the map objectives change every single match, and they're selected randomly from a pool, and you're told about them when the match begins and you're selecting which rigs you want to take on your squad. Now, it's only the first player to complete the objective that gets the points. So for example, we have total vision. Now the map we'll be playing today has 4 distinct vision towers. Now the first player to capture all 4 of them at once will complete the total vision objective and gets 2 points. And nobody else gets to complete it after that. It's off the table. Now as you play, you'll be powering up your squad by gaining experience. Now you gain experience by killing the alien bugs that we call the Kavash that are guarding those hives. Now as you kill them, the experience will go into a shared experience bar. When that bar fills up, you'll get a level up. So that sounds a little bit like a MOBA, but in a MOBA, you tend to use those experience points to power up your abilities. Now in Dropzone, you'll use those experience level up points to power up an individual unit from your squad. So in this example, if I were to power up Vice to level 2, then he has a utility ability here that's going to unlock at level 2. So now I'll be able to use that ability in combat. This is really similar in practice to like an RTS tech tree. It may not sound like it at first glance, but as you gain those level up points, you'll be determining which of your abilities you want to bring online so that you can more effectively team fight in the late game. And there's a tremendous amount of strategic decisions there in deciding which abilities you're going to bring on at what point in the battle. Now the final thing to point out is your dropship. This is how you get into the fight. It's also kind of your base of operations during the match. You can come back here and heal up your damaged units. Also, if you die in combat, that's where you're going to respawn. So let's jump right in and get into the play.
Hitmaker.